everybody. So today I'm going to be making a video about my ghost experience. So for the past, I would say it's been like 4 years now, I've been dealing with the paranormal. To be quite honest, I'm not even sure if it's just one spirit or if it's multiple. But before I get into all the recent events, I'm going to start by talking about how this even started to begin with. So going back to 2016, I had just moved in with my now ex-boyfriend. He had kind of told me about some things that had been going on in the house for years, and they were for sure that it was haunted. So nothing really went on for me personally, like until maybe 2 months into me living there. Doors were opening and closing. We were seeing shadows. We were hearing things. Things around the house would like go missing and reappear. So me and my boyfriend's sister at the time decided that it would be a great idea to play with a Ouija board. We lit like candles around the Ouija board, we did the whole shebang. Started spelling out things like cut and blood, and it spelled out something along the lines of, I want you because you're brave. The next night we played again, and this is when things started to really get bad. So we were kind of just asking questions like, what's your name? Why are you here? Are you evil? It started saying really nice things like, you're my angel, I'm here to protect you. It started to spell out H-A-H-A-H-A. And we were like, oh, it's like, ha ha ha, like, why is it laughing at us? All of a sudden, really quickly, I mean like, whoosh, 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 it was like Z-O-Z-O-Z-O-Z-O. Zozo is apparently this common demon that comes through Ouija boards. So the planchette is what you use to communicate on the board with the ghost. And it kept moving off the board. It kept sliding off the board, like getting tossed off the board, and it always went towards my boyfriend's sister. All of a sudden, her whole face just turned white. I mean white, like that pillow. He was like, I don't feel good, I want to stop playing. So I'm not going to say my ex-boyfriend's name on here for privacy reasons, whatever. We're going to call him Chuck. That last night that we played with the Ouija board, it had spelled out cut Chuck. So that'll get us into this next part coming up. After playing with the Ouija board, we were all just kind of chilling. I was in my room, she was in her room. I had gone out into the kitchen. I was getting a drink, and all of a sudden, I just heard the back door to the backyard start opening. Went to go look, and it was even locked. Like, the door was physically locked. Hi, honey. Don't mind her. I ran to my ex-boyfriend's sister's room as quick as possible, and I started banging on the door, and I'm like, you'll never believe what just happened. And she opened the door and looked so freaked out, and she was like, you'll never believe what just happened. Telling me how the candles that we had used for the Ouija board session lit on their own. I was so scared that night that I remember I slept with the light on. So my boyfriend at the time was working third shift, so he didn't get home until like 3, 4 in the morning. That night, I remember hearing him come into the front door. I heard him getting a drink, and then I just heard him drop the glass and book it into the bedroom. He didn't really want to admit that he thought he may have experienced something paranormal, so he was trying to go nothing, like obviously it was something, you just dropped the glass in the middle of the kitchen floor. Finally, he admitted to me, he was like, I felt something touch my shoulder. So the next morning he woke up and he had a scratch going from here, like the top of the inside of his arm, all the way down to here, to his wrist. He was like, I don't know, that wasn't here when I came home. He came home and took a shower and everything, and that wasn't there. We were sitting in the living room, and my ex-boyfriend's sister had a 3-year-old at the time who was living with us. My ex-boyfriend's sister had just lit a candle, so she put the lighter on the coffee table. I was looking for the lighter, and she was like, where'd the lighter go? And I was like, I don't know, didn't you put it on the coffee table after you lit the candle? And she was like, yeah, I did. Nobody else took the lighter. All of a sudden, her 3-year-old comes running out of the bedroom and goes, "Mommy, the ghost took your lighter." So we ended up asking her questions just because this wasn't the first time she brought up seeing the ghost. So we were starting to ask, what does the ghost look like, blah, blah, blah. And she said this: "It crawls." I almost packed my bags right then and there. I couldn't really take it anymore. It was like starting to physically drain me. So I ended up calling my sister and asked if I can stay at her house for a couple of days. So she was coming to pick me up, and I get in the car, and she was like, "That was weird. As soon as I pulled in your driveway, my phone shut off." She had an iPhone. So literally nothing would work on her phone. It was just black. Her phone wasn't dead. It was fully charged. It was actually on the charger when it had shut off like that. I came back to her house, and I'm telling her about everything that's been going on in the house. So we were trying to get to the bottom of it, like, why is that location haunted? Is it the location? So as we're going on trying to figure out why it could be haunted and is it the location, all of a sudden, Siri pops up on her phone. Mind you, the phone had a black screen like this. It was just like, "I've heard it's built on an Indian burial ground." So now I'm curious, and I start looking up the location of where I was living. So we had lived next to what used to be a huge amusement park in my city. And we were looking into the old amusement park. That was literally, I'm talking like you walked out my front door and that's where it was, And long and behold, it says that amusement park was in fact built on an Indian burial ground. All of a sudden, my back starts burning. So I was like, "Oh, my back's burning, and my sister was like, "Oh, do you have like a sunburn you didn't know about?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then she was like, "Do you want me to put some icy hot on it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." So she goes to lift up my shirt to put the icy hot on, and she was like, nope, oh my God. And I was like, "What is it?" And she's like, "Let me take a picture." And when I looked at the picture, I literally just started crying. And there was literally a scratch going from the top of my back all the way down. And it was like fresh. Like, I'm telling you, it was like a fresh scratch. Like, it had just happened. So me and my boyfriend at the time ended up moving in with my sister. So a year later, we were still staying with my sister, and things started to happen again. So there was one night where I was just sitting in my room. I was on my computer doing schoolwork, and my candle that was sitting on my dresser literally was just whoop, crash. I remember just being too scared to move, and I had to pee so bad, but I was too scared to get out of my bed and go downstairs and go to the bathroom until I literally couldn't hold it in anymore, and I was like, okay, I have to go downstairs and go to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, I start hearing footsteps. There was nobody else home. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and I was home alone. It sounded like heavy, heavy boots walked by the bathroom, like it sounded like that, and then it sounded like it went through the living room to the staircase, up the stairs, like. I tried to just kind of say maybe it was my dog. My dog's pretty small, but maybe he was running around playing. That was the only thing that I could think of to calm myself down. I was like, it was just my dog. And I realized that my dog was sound asleep on the couch. I grabbed the first pair of shoes I saw, and I ran out of the house, and I drove around for 30 minutes, and I was like, all right, I gotta go back home, and I was just praying that I was gonna pull up to my house and somebody was gonna be home. I got to the house, and I realized nobody was home, and she was out with her friends. I didn't want to call her home just because I was scared. So my first reaction was, if I'm going back into this house by myself, I'm going to the store and I'm getting wine. I'm like, if I have to deal with this, I'm getting drunk. Back in the house, I'm just in the kitchen having a glass of wine. So I quickly go into the bathroom, and I'm in the bathroom and I hear a shatter. So I go back into the kitchen, and the first thing that I notice was that my wine was no longer on the kitchen counter. So around the kitchen counter, and my wine glass was shattered all over the floor. My wine bottle was shattered all over the floor. There was wine everywhere. Just remember cleaning it up and crying. And my sister coming home and she was like, what is going on? Like, I was just like cleaning there, like sweeping, like in tears. From that point on, things were just happening again and again. So after that, a lot of things just kept happening. You know, things were being thrown around, doors kept opening and closing. Our TV at night would turn on and off. The volume, it would be like 3 a.m. and all of a sudden the TV would turn on and the volume would go all the way like max. My boyfriend at the time was actually deployed at this moment. He was gone for a whole year. And when he came home, things got even worse. He was waking up with scratches on his body, I would say, if not every night, every other night. There was one morning, this still gives me like chills. There was one morning where he had to be somewhere for drill. End up getting a phone call from him and he was like, oh, it got canceled. Like, I'm downstairs. Can you open the front door? So I go downstairs and I'm opening the front door and all of a sudden you just hear the loudest bang come from upstairs in our bedrooms. And what I saw just, I can't even explain it. My TV was down on the ground along with my bedroom door. My whole door was sitting in the middle of my bedroom. That was just impossible. That was impossible for the door to just come loose and just fall. Something unscrewed the door. After all that, it was really just back and forth between, you know, the TV going on and off, water running, just the worst. You know, things will die down every now and then just pretty much start up again. So I'm still dealing with it. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be. So that's pretty much my story of the ghost that haunts me and lives in my house. My sister's fiance had said that one day the ghost had come to him in his ear and claimed that his name was Bruce. I don't know how true that is. He's kind of a goofball, so I don't know if he was just messing with me, but ever since then, we call the ghost Bruce. If you've dealt with similar experiences or have had any paranormal experiences, let me know. You know, as scary as this shit is when it's happening to you, I still find the paranormal to be very interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little story time on that. If I have any advice, it would be to not play with a Ouija board. Then I really advise that you do your research and you make sure you're doing it correctly and that you're doing it for all the right reasons. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later.